How long have you been waiting for someone to pick you? A label, a gallery, a publisher? I wasted years doing that. As a kid, I wasn't athletic. In school, I was usually one of the last to be picked at recess when the kids wanted to play football or something.
Yes, I consider myself a nerd.
I was more into writing, art, music. That's where I thrived. But that same feeling of waiting to be chosen followed me into my creative life, and it nearly held me back from doing the things I cared about most. Recently, I heard a quote that brought those feelings back into focus. Pick yourself. And that's exactly what this episode is about, how to stop waiting for permission and start creating on your own terms. So even though I wasn't an athletic kid, I did get into skateboarding, but in a way that it was a creative sport, and I still ride now at 52, just a bit more carefully. But I remember waiting to be picked for a team at recess, which honestly, I had no idea what was going on in team sports. I think it just felt like I was supposed to do it. I wasn't interested in sports, but I definitely picked up on the feeling of being left out. And I didn't really care at the time, but later it became harder because I did care. I wanted to be picked and wasn't. I started playing drums pretty late compared to most kids. I was 14 when I got my first drum set. After that, it was all I wanted to do. I was obsessed. Then I had a series of disappointments. My parents sent me to a teacher who basically told me after 2 lessons that he didn't think I should be a drummer. Then I auditioned for the Governor's Magnet School, which is a school for performing arts in Virginia. And I couldn't read music because I had never been in school band, so they didn't want me. I had an audition for Busch Gardens to play in a show at the theme park as a summer job. But again, I couldn't read music for drums, and each of these were heartbreaking for me at the time. If I hadn't been so obsessed with the drums and the idea of playing music, writing music, being a musician somehow, I'm sure I would have given up. The reason I'm telling you this is because of a quote I heard from Seth Godin, who, if you don't know, Seth Godin is like the philosopher king of marketing. But he said, "The opportunity of a lifetime is to pick yourself. Quit waiting to get picked. Quit waiting for someone else to give you permission. Quit waiting for someone to say you are officially qualified, and pick yourself." Pick yourself. When I heard that, my mind immediately flashed back to those auditions. I was that 16-year-old kid again, trying to wrap his head around what it meant to not be picked for something that I loved, for something that I knew in my bones I was supposed to do. And so instead of giving up, I did it anyway. I picked me, but not, I didn't just show up at Busch Gardens with my drums and say, "I don't care what you say, I'm playing this gig." But I'll get back to how I picked myself in a minute. First, what Godin is talking about really is the fall of the gatekeepers, record labels, publishing houses, traditional media. Today, we all have access to ways to self-publish with Substack, Patreon, YouTube. But many of us are still stuck in the old paradigm of needing permission. We're waiting for a higher authority to give us a stamp of approval when really all we need to do is start. Like Tyler the Creator says, if you want it, go get it. Stop asking for permission. I was watching a TED Talk with Substack co-founder Hamish McKinsey. He mentioned Caroline Chambers, who runs a newsletter called What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking. She went around to all the major publishers pitching an idea for a new cookbook. They all passed, kind of like the J.K. Rowling story. So she picked herself. She grew her newsletter, then released the cookbook anyway, and it hit the New York Times bestseller list. They even carry it at Williams and Sonoma now. Once she stopped asking for permission and just did the thing, she was a huge success. Was she scared she'd fail? Probably. But in a way, rejection is a form of permission. It frees you to stop caring what they think and just do what you know you should do. Still, we almost always come up with reasons to wait. I'm not ready. I don't have the right gear. I don't have an audience. You're never going to feel ready. You'll acquire the gear as you grow, and the best way to grow an audience is just to start. What we really need is a paradigm shift. Stop waiting for someone to discover you and realize you are the one you've been waiting for. You are the one who has the power to elevate your creativity. You are the one who can make these creative dreams a reality. And it's never been easier to do so. Start a newsletter. Put your album on Bandcamp. Self-publish your book. Whatever it is, there is a way to put it out into the world yourself. No legacy gatekeepers, no permission slip required. The most powerful decision you'll ever make is the decision to start. Reacting like this to obstacles, especially to rejection, is an example of creative resilience, which I'm actually developing into a course. So go to the new website, ktfpod.com, to join the waitlist for that. I'll put a link in the description. But getting back to me, how I picked myself, I just decided to practice insanely hard. I mean, I was literally playing the drums around 6 hours a day, to the detriment of my homework, my social life, and any sense of what most people would call reasonable. It's strange. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone, but I don't regret it either. It made me who I am. So yes, I did pick myself without really thinking about it. I just wanted to do it bad enough that no one was going to get in my way. And then I auditioned for a band that toured the college circus. I joined the circus. Then I joined the circus. And then I auditioned for and got the gig with a band that toured the college circuit in the US. I started asking to sit in on local jazz gigs in Virginia, and eventually got into one of the best college jazz programs in the US, where I met my wife and started playing gigs in New York. Starting this podcast is another example of choosing myself. I didn't wait around for someone to say I should do it. I just started. So what about you? How could you choose yourself? What part of your creative life would benefit from action instead of waiting? What's one small way you could pick yourself this week? Start the thing, share the thing, send the email. Whatever it is, take this opportunity to choose yourself. And if you want to go further, check out the episode I did on designing a creative life, which you can click on right here. Thanks so much for hanging out. I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, keep the flow.